All right, shalom, shalom. First thing first, I want to give all praises, glory, honor, and power that's due to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone, those who rule well and who I learned this truth from. And salutation to the brothers stiffly pushing this one truth in all sincerity and diligence, risking both your lives and freedoms to do so. All right, shalom to the rest of the elect as we all await the second Exodus coming quickly by the hands of Lord Yahweh Shah. All right, this is your brother Akaga Bar. All right, I want to be doing a brief lesson. All right, ultimately, going into praying. All right, that the Lord protects you and keeps you. All right, from these witchcrafts. All right, and these enchantments, man. Okay, that the Lord protects us and keeps us from these witchcrafts and these enchantments. All right, because ultimately, hey, you got a lot of witches and warlocks out here, man. Especially with times getting harder. And things getting rough out here for people, they ready to crash out, and we know a lot of people have left the churches, joined, voodoo and, all types of shit, man. You got a lot of witches out here, man, and ultimately what inspired me to do this lesson, was a dream that I had, which ultimately, in the dream, it was, and you know that, hey, certain people that pop up in a dream, it may not necessarily always indicate, something, but it was a random, this random chick that I used to go to school with. And, essentially I was sitting, and I was chopping it up with somebody that I knew, and she ended up coming up, and sitting next to us, and you could tell based off of her appearance, that she was a witch, that she dibbled and dabbled with, the left hand, and ultimately, she was, she came in a friendly manner, as though we was all cool, and hey, man, you just remember she pretty much was saying, she came up asking about a book of magic or some shit. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? And she ultimately was like, yeah, well, she pretty much said she put some type of spell, on her ex, on her boyfriend. I forget exactly what she had said, something that started with an H, which might not be of much importance. All right. But it was just the fact that she had said she had put a spell on him, that she had done something, to, curse this dude or consulting with the left hand to put some type of spell on him, man, and she was looking for some type of book because she was a witch. And like I said, you could tell based off of her appearance and her energy, and it was also a point made, when we was, talking that she, kind of mentioned, pretty much when all hell breaks loose, when things get bad, when all hell breaks loose, she'll be able to, kind of go crazy, if you will, and I remember that point, that point that stood out to me, in the dream, because she pretty much had said, that, yeah, when, pretty much when things get rough, when society's not intact, when all hell breaks loose, she'd be able to, pretty much unleash and reflecting on it. Yeah, man, because, hey, when, like I said, when these people lose all hope, when they lose all faith, they will, consult with the left hand, man, left hand spirits, and matter of fact, let me grab this. In Isaiah, the 19th chapter, and let's start at the top, okay? Because this is what's about to take place, man, and this is the NLT. It says, look, the Lord Yahweh is advancing against Egypt, riding on a swift cloud, which is the chariot. The idols of Egypt, the idols of Egypt tremble. The heart of the Egyptians melt with fear. And this is what's happening now. Okay, really, they're going to, obviously, when the Lord returns on that chariot, they're going to tremble. But the fear is gripping this place now because we're in uncertain times, man. Hey, Trump just put tariffs on the world. You have World War III, trending right now. Okay, the escalations in the between Iran and America has reached new heights. So people are fearful, man. And this fear, is what causes people to do, unprecedented things, man. You know, it says, verse 2, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian, brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, city against city, province against province. Yeah, man. You know, and this is that division that's pretty much been engineered, for quite some time now. And Trump, is making it, he's solidifying it, you know. But the point is verse 3, it says, the Egyptian will lose heart and I will confuse their plans. They will plead with their idols for wisdom and call on spirits, mediums, and those who consult the spirits of the dead. See, so these people are going to look to left-hand spirits, man. Witchcrafts, right? And whatnot for answers. Okay. And hey, that's really, that time, man, that we in, because like I said, in the dream, it was a notable point. She said pretty much, hey, when all hell break loose, that she gonna she gonna go crazy. She gonna do what she gotta do, man. And there's a lot of witches and warlocks out here, man. And we know that's why scriptures say there's no enchantment against Jacob, man. Let's grab that. In Numbers 23 and 23 NLT, it says no curse can touch Jacob. Oh, Salakia, because I have to point out, even in a dream, after that bitch left, after she left, it's funny because I guess I was sitting with some Christian, and the next thing I know, in the next scene of the dream, everybody had their Bibles out, everybody that was left, at least, after she left, we had our Bibles out, and, they was getting on that Christian shit. But I was like, I remember praying to Yahweh, man. I literally remember, praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, like, hey, keep me from this. You felt the energy from the bitch. I'm like, nah, man, I don't, whatever she got going on, man, no, please keep me from that, and protect me, man. And I remember, throwing up that prayer, in a dream. Everybody had their Bibles. I remember they was on that Christian shit. He's probably talking about some Jesus, and I remember praying to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man, and that's really why I wanted to do this lesson, because, hey, brothers and few sisters out there, hey, throw them prayers up for protection, man, because we're in uncertain times, man. We dealing with a lot of fucking demons out here, man. People that want to do you harm, and you may not even know it. I remember a brother brought that point out at camp the other day, man. It's people out here that don't got our best interests at heart, but then again, on the flip, there are people out there that are looking out for you, man. And this is why we gotta, make sure we pray for each other, man, because we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities and whatnot in high places, man. So we gotta use the power we've been given to, protect ourselves in these times, man. But it's Numbers 23 and 23. It says, no curse can touch Jacob. No magic has any power against Israel. For now it will be said of Jacob, what wonders the Most High has done for Israel, man. That's comforting, but I'm saying, because our power controls all powers. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua not only controls, he sanctions the left hand the left hand must have permission to do anything, what I'm saying, against us, man, especially the elect. When Job was tempted of Satan, there was ultimately a council in the heavens before that could even be done. He couldn't just go and tempt Job, man, and that's the same with these spirits. They must be given permission, to interact and do things with us on this earth, man, And, hey, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua has a hedge of protection. Hey, we know the angels are encamped around us, man. Scripture say the angels of the Lord encampeth around about them that fear him and delivered them, man. We got right-hand spirits around us right now, You know, we have right hand spirits around us right now, man. This is why brothers always see the chariots. You know, it's why we see, the 144s and the numbers and whatnot, man. There's right hand spirits, urging us, exhorting us to keep pushing, man. You know, to keep doing what we got to do, man. Showing we on the right track. We have to, understand it and have that confidence, man. The Lord is with us, man. And anything bad or evil that happens, is being sanctioned, you know, whether it be a test or whatnot or what the case. But, that's really the point, man. I want to do this brief lesson because, hey, just throw those prayers up for protection, man. The Most High keep you, because we are in these uncertain times, man. And these people going to lose their fucking mind. They're weak anyways. Okay, when a lot of women can't handle shit, hard times, they resort to witchcraft, man. They had an ex they feel did them wrong, so they're heartbroken about it. You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, they out at the full moon, howling at the full moon, throwing salt behind their shoulders and whipping up stirring up a fucking magic pot somewhere, man. But on a serious note, yeah, man, hey, just pray the Most High keeps us, man. We don't know a lot of these people that, we interact with, even some of these women we deal with. That's why, it makes sense, when brothers say, hey, pray after you pray before you get in the box, pray after, man. And I got to get better at that myself, but, just pray, dealing with these people out here, man. And I did have a prayer that I had came up, that I tried to put together through the spirit, a while back, to be protected against these witchcrafts, man, because even a lot of the shit that enters into our eyes, our portals, you know what I'm saying, can plant seeds in your subconscious mind, man, different enchantments and whatnot, so we just, we gotta, be protected. It says, the Hebrew goes from, right to left, but ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, protect me from witchcrafts or sorceries and take away enchantments, so be it. Okay, and I made it a while back, so I just try to make it through the spirit to the best of my ability, but for the most part to take away or protect us from sorceries and take away enchantments, okay? The water, which means thank you or thanks, all right? Yad, always, tawab, which means good, and then aman, which means so be it, man. So Yahweh Bashmi Shah, Babakashah, 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 Gananya, Mayan, Kashap, Wa, Sawar, Nachaash, the water, Damyad, Tawab, Aman, and hey, prayer for protection, man. And, the Most High to take away any enchantments because we live in a society where Esau constantly pushes those vibrations on us, man. When you read Isaiah the 47th chapter, it says this dude is labored from his youth, with his enchantments, man. Since from your birth, there's been spells that these devils try to put on us, man. The media, mediums to whereby they push their vibration on the people, and not only that, hey, fucking people you interact with, actual people out here, man. And the beauty is that Yahweh Bashmal Child's gonna keep us, man. He's going to protect his elect. I mean, he does it even unknowingly. He's protecting us from shit, man. So ultimately, the water Yahweh Bashmal Child, man, because we live in a wicked ass fucking world, man. And with these people ready to crash out and lose it, they're gonna resort to their hope, which is in their idols, All right. Our hope is in Yahweh Basham Shah, who controls, their idols. You see? But that's pretty much the point. All right, I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh Basham Shah, Basham Kakadash. DTA Wabapa Ball. Shalom.